a little bit of some preamble festives right now. Just checking mic check 1 2 1 2. Do not forget to check out my new video that I have with Tom Aspinall and why he's potentially going to get stripped. All right, be right back. Just wanted to make sure that all the mics are working. We're going to get the title up. We're going to get the headline up. We're going to get the description up. Not only that, we're also going to get the thumbnail up because we got a very interesting show for you. Welcome to episode 7 of the conference call. All right, guys, listen, we got the title up. We have the descriptions and the thumbnail up. Go check it out. We're going to talk about some Stockton gang wars. On top of that, UFC 323 fight week. Nowhere in YouTube will you ever run across a channel like this where we talk about the streets. We talk about geopolitics. On top of that, we're going to talk about UFC 323. On top of that, a possible first ever Asian American champion in Joshua Van, because we all know there's some people out there that love Pantoja, but guess what? Maybe it is Joshua Van's time. At the same time, while we are also talking about Asian Crips in Stockton and their party getting shot up, we're going to talk about it. But first, I'm going to leave you to a friend of mine, Triz Lord. Shout out to Triz Lord from Oak Park, Sacramento, California. Represent. with his beats that he's got going on right now, that he is blessing our show with right now. I will be right back. We will get the show starting and cracking in a minute. Welcome to the sound of the streets, boys.
I almost didn't buy this NFL wallet, but when Black Friday hit, it was up to 42% off.
It is at 5 minutes right now. We will be on at exactly 2 to 3 minutes from now. Stay tuned. All right, man. So let's get this thing cracking on the road right now. Let's see here. So we got a little intro right here. Intro at 3 minutes, and then right on the 10-minute mark. Okay, we will start at the 10-minute mark. That is going to be 1 minute from now. All right, here we go, guys. Yeah, we get it cracking, cuz. Yeah, we get it cracking, cuz. Yeah, we get it cracking, cuz. All right, so we are really about to get this show started and cracking right now. Okay, so hold on just a second. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, well, there it is, man. As I promised you guys, 10 minutes into the show, we're going to talk about UFC 323. And on top of that, how about Stockton right now, right? They say that the shooting in Stockton, which, by the way, well, at least from the official reports, because I'm not here to, give you information on that one way or another, nor do I really know, but they say that it is supposedly gang-related. Okay, and if that's the case, then why must you label it as a mass shooting? What is the point of that? Like, what is the accomplishment that they are trying to make by making it into something that is clearly not? Okay, now, I gotta tell you, I can have a couple of speculations. All right, guys, how about now? Can you guys hear me loud and clear right now? Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear right now so that I can continue on with the preambles that we got going on right now. Not much of a preambles. We're sort of just already in the middle of the show right now. So, yeah, please let me know if you can hear me right now. Let me know if the audio is clear. Please, yeah, let me know right now in the comment section below so we can get this thing on and cracking. And, yeah, please put some comments down below. Let me know that you are here. Let me know that you are loud and clear. And let's get this thing cracking, shall we? So, okay. Let's see here. Let's just make sure that the audio is on and cracking right here. So cracking right here. So okay, good. All right, I have good thing I brought another okay, good thing I brought another laptop. I'm sorry, not a laptop, another iPad with me so that I can hear myself on that one. Okay, so good. We're back. Okay, so where was I? What was I saying? Okay, so as I was telling you guys, let's go back to the top comments up top, right? Will you cover a Survivor Series? The answer is no, I did not see it, but if you care to share some stories with me about what happened there or some spoilers, I would like to hear them. Victory says just getting the pre-snacks in. No, I don't think that's the case. Yeah, I mean, I let you think whatever you want, but trust me, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that I just don't show or don't tell the world, and that's for my own purposes. But yeah, snacks it is. Nate Diaz, Travis says Nate Diaz would have Stockton slapped the F out of all of them. You know what's funny about that? Nate Diaz was, or at least his brother Nick, Asian gangsters put a gun to his face. Now, I'm not sure, and I'm not going to confirm or deny if that was the Blood or the Crip side of the Asian sets that did that, but you can look at old interviews of Nick Diaz claiming that he has had Asian gangsters from Stockton pull the gun on him before, right? He just didn't say which one, but rest assured, anybody who's from Stockton or is from around that part of of California, they know, and yeah, they sort of know who is who and what is what. Very similar to back in the days when Keefe D and Orlando Anderson did that hit on Tupac. It was like a secret that everybody knew in Compton. And interestingly enough, man, Stockton is becoming the new Compton, right? Stockton is literally what Compton was in the 90s. In fact, Compton looks like more of, how do I say this? A gentrified place, right? I mean, literally gentrified, at least gentrified by Mexicans. Dr. Dre went to go visit his old high school. What did he find in his old high school? It was a Mexican population high school, right? I mean, Compton completely changed. But Stockton, on the other hand, it's always been a Latino and Asian American community. And believe it or not, blacks and whites are actually the minorities of Stockton in comparison to, let's say, the representation that whites and blacks have across California, right? So another thing about the Diaz brothers, guys, I need to tell you this, right? This is something that a lot of people in the MMA world will not tell you about the Diaz brothers. You see, everybody always looks at the Diaz brothers as, oh, they're so gangster or this and that, because they carry the mannerisms of the gangbangers that come from Stockton. But the truth is, Nick or Nate Diaz, regardless of how horrible their English pronunciation is or how hood they claim to be, they never banged with a gang. And I got to be honest with you, that could be a variation of things, right? I could literally just say, well, the reason why he was never with a gang was because the dude was a weirdo or this and that. I could say that about Nick or Nate Diaz if, let's say, I didn't like them, right? If they were my ops, if they were somebody that I just, had beef with, I could say that. But I'm not going to say that because there are different variations as to why they never joined a gang. But the way that Stockton is built, you literally have to be part of a gang, otherwise you are in trouble, okay? You can't do things on your own, and as a result of that, Nick and Nate Diaz, the reason why they probably were never in a gang is because they spent all of their time, obviously, training at the Cesar Gracie Academy. So this idea that they had to be in a gang, well, you know what, that is up for you to decide whether that is, halal or not, right? That is up for you to decide. But what I can tell you is that I'm only presenting to you the facts and the realities that I know of the Diaz brothers in terms of what is going on in their lives and who they are in terms of the standings that they have in their own community. And that is the God-honest truth. The Diaz brothers are not gang affiliates. They're not gang bangers. They're not gang members. But it doesn't mean that they're not warriors. Let's not mix words about this, okay? They are warriors. Not only that, they will beat the living hell out of you if you ever disrespect them in any kind of way. And guess what? That is the typical California attitude. This is the reason why if I was to get into it with anybody on the chat or anybody on a collaboration stream or anybody in any type of social media setting, if you get at me, I'm going to get at you. And in the physical settings, in the real life, real world physical settings, I would do literally just about the same, if not even worse, because there's physical aspects involved to which I may inflict pain upon you if you wish to offend me. Because if you wish to offend me, I'm lifting you 10 feet in the air. I don't care who just saw me, just jaw you, go call you a lawyer, file you a lawsuit. I'll smile in the courtroom. You know, the whole Eminem line. But on any regards, yes, that is the reality of Nick and Nate Diaz. They are from a town where everybody is damn near in a gang. Okay, now think about that. Okay, here's me, a college-educated dude, okay, who came from New Jersey, and now I'm in Stockton. Guess what? I did what everybody else did that came from that community, but not the Diaz brothers, and only you can decide why they did it or not. Now, keep in mind, it is very easy to not join a gang if you live in Ohio. It's very easy to not join a gang, believe it or not, if you live in New Jersey, because in New Jersey, okay, I knew a lot of gang members in New Jersey. I knew a lot of Bloods in the high schools in New Jersey that I went to. I knew a lot of Crips, East Coast Crips, that is, not West Coast ones. I knew a lot of guys that were Latin Kings, but I never joined any of them while I was out in the East Coast. In the West Coast, it's a little bit different because there's a racial dynamic to gangs out here. And quite frankly, if you're a mixed breed person, let's say like myself, you run across some guys that are like, hey, you know what? You're Islander? Cool, man. Come hang out with us. Next thing you know, you are in touch with your other side of your culture, very similar to that of Miko from Blood In, Blood Out. Okay, he said that he can't hear me. Okay, can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me now. How about now? Let me know if you can hear me right now. Let me know if you can hear me right now. Right now, drop a comment below. Let me know if you can hear me right now. You're back. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was asking. Sorry, someone tried to call me, and then and then it obviously took the audio out. So okay, no, what I was asking was is it pronounced Miko or Miklo? The Blood In, Blood Out character, the the white Mexican guy in Blood In, Blood Out. Is it Miko or Miklo? Or yeah, let me know the proper pronunciation for it. I haven't watched Blood In, Blood Out in a while. But you know what? I tell you what, man. This situation with MB Nell, right? Listen, for those of you guys that don't know the rapper involved, right? His name is MB Nell. I personally know his uncle. Me and his uncle, let's just say we're very close friends, right? His uncle, his name is Jesse, right? Strangely enough, Uncle Jesse, as they call him, right? So he's Uncle Jesse, right? I've known him for a long time. I've known his crew. I've known the people in that section, and I kind of understand what they're about, but I also understand what Stockton is about in terms of, let's say, the eternal beef that they have going on and the complicated matters that come with Stockton gang politics. I'll give you an example, right? In Stockton, it's not like, let's say, Compton or LA. It's not like San Diego. It's not like Chicago. It's, well, you know what? Actually, the gang... All right, back at it. Let's make sure that everything is on and cracking here. Okay, just make sure everything is on and cracking. Okay, good. We're back. Okay, sorry about that. Had to adjust for a little bit there. Okay, so, all right, yeah, as I was saying, right, the gang affiliations in Stockton are very complicated. You would literally need either a PhD in gangology, either that, or be there and understand the community for what it is, and the infrastructures that they have set in place, right? What I can tell you, though, is for the same reason why they targeted, you could say they accidentally targeted, 19 people. Many of them were, by the way, children attending a birthday party, mind you, right? So this is what is, very complicated about this situation. Okay, you have a situation where people went into a birthday party, shot it up, and now, guess what? Just like Chicago, now you're going to attract the attention of the federal government, Donald Trump, who's adamant in sending National Guards to troubled cities. Here's another thing about Stockton, too, right? They have a very low budget. They have a very low tier budget when it comes to their policing, right? So for them to even try and solve this case, okay, because right now they caught on some suspects, right? They caught some suspects, but we don't know if there's any reality behind these suspects or if there's any motion to file, a complaint by the federal government, or any evidence at all that suggests that these were the real perpetrators. Because remember, I know a lot of people always say the following, right? They say, well, you got to be careful out there because in the world that we live in today, there's cameras, there's this, that, and the other. You just can't get away with anything at all today, right? That is what the consensus will tell you. Well, here's the reality of the situation, though, right? The reality of the situation is that people out there do get away. And you know what? The 8th Street Crips in Stockton, they've had a RICO federal charges put on them for running guns and all types of criminal activities and gang injunctions and things of that nature. Nothing stuck. So this idea that, the feds, always are going to win, or this, that, and the other, it's not always the case, man. It sounds like this common thing that your grandma would tell you when you were younger, saying, you better be careful, because those police are going to come after you if you speed or this and that. Well, guess what? Here I am, an educated 40-year-old man who understands law, understands the world, understands how things go. 10 multiple speeding tickets, and I beat all of them without a lawyer. Okay, so this notion that people have, oh my goodness, man, you know, you're gonna get caught up, or you're gonna get caught, or you're gonna, you know, have to pay a hefty fine. That's not always the case. Now, I want to say the reverse as well, because it's important to bring this up to kids that ever want to think about, you know, joining that kind of life, right? As exciting as it is, here's something you got to understand about the realities of gangbanging, right? There are guys out there that have literally died on their first mission. There are guys out there that have literally suffered a life sentence in their first mission. Imagine that, right? You want to be a gangbanger so bad. You want to wear the colors. You want to wear the tattoos of, you know, of your gang and, you know, and the insignias and all of that. Next thing you know, you're in prison serving a life sentence out of nowhere. Right? And that is the reality of this unfortunate game that many of you have to really take into deep consideration. Guys can't even go to the lowrider shows or the, you know, barbecue family functions that they have going on. Because trust and believe, there are other positive aspects of gang culture that the mainstream media will not tell you about. For example, there's a certain level of camaraderie that comes with being in gangs. Right? There's a certain level of brotherhood. Look, do you think that in the history of the world that, you know, somehow I'm the only one that has had a military background that has gotten into gangs? Now, what I will tell you is that most people, and for those of you that are about that life, you're going to understand the vernaculars that I'm about to say right now, okay? And for those of you that don't understand, it's not for you to understand, but here's how it goes. Most people jump off the Porsche, live that life as a kid, and then go into the military. You know what I did? I did the complete opposite. I went into the military, then jumped off the Porsche because I had this weird obsession with West Coast culture when I was a teenager, and then all of a sudden, now I'm in my 20s, mid-20s, looking for, you know, some kind of brotherhood. Look, this is no different than Marines, Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, guys that go into, let's say, the Hells Angels gang. Now, what is the difference between the Hells Angels and the Bloods and Crips? Let's be honest about this, right? There is no difference. The only difference is that somehow people want to, you know, make a fuss about one group over the other because the other group is a minority. Let's be honest about that. You want an example of this? Remember when Trende Aragua was going to go bust open into this apartment complex in Colorado? Do you guys remember that story? Guess who was going to come and save the day? It was none other than the Hells Angels. They were going to come to save the day in Colorado. And you know what? These white people who, let's say for all intents and purposes, you know, are non-gang affiliated, they were excited that these white boys with motorcycles, Harley Davidsons, were going to pull up. They were all going to pull up in Colorado to confront these immigrant gangster criminals, right? So you needed gangsters to go after other gangsters because for whatever reason, the local police department was not equipped to handle them. For whatever reason, they couldn't call in the National Guard. And for whatever reason, they didn't have the FBI on deck to, you know, do what they needed to do. So what do? They go and call the criminal white boys. And I tell you what I found really interesting about that was the reaction from well, let's just be honest about this. Other white people that are not gang affiliates. Oh, you guys better watch out. The Hells Angels are coming. The Hells Angels are coming. The Hells Angels are coming to rain down order, and they're coming to beat everybody up. Listen, do you understand that, let's say, and by the way, listen, when it comes to, you know, blood and Crip, you know, politics, they're not exactly shy at fighting Latino gangs across the United States, okay? Especially in Los Angeles, where there's a lot of blood and Crip sets that fight with Mexican gangs. There's a lot of Blood and Crip sets in New York, in the Rikers Island prison systems that fight with the Latin Kings, and out in the streets as well as New Jersey and across the Northeast, right? So there are plenty of historical African-American gangs, and when I mean by historical African-American gangs, I mean that within the Blood and Crip lineage of things, right? Many of them have beef with, let's say, Hispanic gangs. This is very common, you know, for them to get into beef with Hispanic gangs. So if they were to, let's say, take up arms against Trendy Aragua, guess what would happen to them in comparison to those white boys on the Harley-Davidson bikes? You want to know what would happen to them? They would have federal indictment charges placed upon them on top of RICO charges. And it's not to say that the Hells Angels don't, get any RICO charges or gang injunctions put on them, because they do. And I'm not saying that the police doesn't do a two-tier police system in which they may treat them a little bit differently than, let's say, that of a minority group, but that's the reality of the situation. They saw the Hells Angels as this beacon of saviorship, whereas if, let's say, a group of black dudes or Asian dudes or Samoans or other minorities were to do that, you better believe that, yeah, it's going to be looked at in a different light, and it's going to be looked at in a very negative way. He says, this dude got crazy head game, no cap. What do you mean by that? This dude got crazy head game. I don't understand what you mean by that. Are you trying to, like, talk in a very suspect manner just so, I don't know, like, what is your, reason and motivation, behind that? But anyways, yes, so on any regard. Yeah, man. So far, this is some updates that I have so far with the with this particular matter at hand, right? So far, I believe there was some sort of retaliatory response, right? Because I believe from what many people have been saying, in Stockton, that there was a blood neighborhood that got shot up. Right now, we don't know if that's related, because remember, Stockton is gangs that you just don't know who is who and what is what. Now, look, many people have a particular suspect in this particular shooting, right? Obviously, I told you guys about MB Nell, right? Rapper from Stockton. I know him very well. I know his uncles, his family, this, that, and the other. And by the way, look it up. MB Nell made a rap song that became an anthem for the 49ers. All right? Very interesting stuff, right? He made an anthem that became an anthem. He made an anthem, a song that became an anthem for the 49ers. That's how big this guy got, right? So he has another rival, right? And by the way, due to this rivalry, it turned Stockton into a new haven of rap music that, quite frankly, when I first came into the 2000s, I didn't even think that Stockton would even produce artists like that, right? Not at the level of, let's say, Eminem or the level of Dr. Dre. And quite frankly, MB Nell and then his other ops on the other side, EBK J-Bo, is a world international star. Imagine this, right? You are two rival gangs, and you guys rap. You guys have some people in your crew that rap. You got these guys that rap on this side. You got this guy that raps on that side. And now you guys are both world famous together. MB Nell has a lot of tours that he does in Asia. He does a lot of tours in Europe as well. But even EBK J-Bo is even bigger in Scotland, which is crazy, right? Because, look, it's always crazy when you see somebody that you know in your neighborhood or you know that's within your vicinity do great things. And at the same time, it's even shocking when they are your enemies. But guess what, man? That is where they both are at, right? EBK J-Bo, look him up. Famous rapper out of Stockton. Because many people are tying him into this particular shootout. They are tying him into this particular shootout. Now, I beg to differ on that. Not because I'm trying to nullify common knowledge, because we don't know if that's common knowledge. Here's what is common knowledge. As I told you earlier, why I thought it was weird for the Diaz brothers to not be in gangs. Everybody's in gangs. So in Stockton, at least. So that means that there are going to be people out there who are going to have a vendetta other than EBK J-Bo. So there's a lot that goes into all of these situations right now, and rest assured that it's not going to be the last that you heard of it. It won't be the last in terms of hearing news about it, and it won't be the last in terms of hearing the next possible steps that are going to go on in terms of investigations, in terms of potential arrests that they are going to make, or maybe lack of arrests, right? Maybe somebody goes on trial and ends up beating the case or not beating the case. But there's a lot that's going on into this whole Stockton thing, and I tell you what, man, I do really find it weird that they label it as a mass shooting. Now, my question is, are they labeling this a mass shooting because they want to create some kind of funding for Stockton PD? Think about that. Think about that. They want to fund Stockton PD through the FBI. And for all you know, maybe there's a good chance that they may just, I don't know, perhaps maybe cut out Stockton PD in total, right? They did the same thing to Compton PD. Did you guys know that Compton PD had their own police department outside of LAPD? Did you know that, right? This is a very common misconception that a lot of people have. What they don't understand is that Compton is its own city. You understand? It is literally its own city. And they disembarked the police department in the 90s because Suge Knight was paying them under the table. And they decided, you know what, we're going to disband the Compton PD because it had too much corruption. And as a result of that, they brought in a sheriff's department in Compton. So now Compton has a sheriff's department and not a police department of its own, right? A sheriff's department that is attached to LA County, which is why they have an LA County Sheriff's Department rather than a Compton City Department over there. So let me read some of these comments right here. Mick says, I'm in a gang out here in the country called Pitchfork Posse. Okay, we get to work hard all day long, go to bed at night, get up to do it again, West Side Coal Mine. Okay, that's very interesting, man. I see the bit of the humor that you are sort of putting forth in that. What part of the world are you from, Mick? Let me know what part of the world you are from. I'm assuming if you're talking about coal mine, you're either from England or in the Midwestern parts of the United States. Let me know what part of the world you are from, my brother, and you are always welcome here with your comments and your contribution to the stream. So, shout out to you. He says, oh, probably Pennsylvania. Yeah, so there you go, right? Okay. Yeah, there's gangs in Pennsylvania too, right? But, it's not really anything that I would necessarily know about. I know there's Bloods and Crips in Philadelphia, but then there's Philadelphia, and then there's the rest of Pennsylvania, which is, Utah. Okay, Utah, got it. There are gangs in Utah, by the way. A lot of the gangs in Utah, Mick, are West Coast derivative. For example, you have Norteños, you have Bloods, you have Crips in Utah. You have a lot of Sureños, right? A lot of Southsider Mexicans. You got a lot of Cholos out there. And they are all attached to West Coast gangs, But I do agree with what you're saying, though, Mick, okay? I completely get what you're saying, right? Get up every day, work hard, get to your job, and stay out of trouble, right? Sounds simple enough. That's yeah, man, that's a reality that I think a lot of people live throughout the world. And here's the thing, right? even though a lot of these gangster dudes, they sort of make fun of people who are different than them, right? I mean, it's really no different than a Marine making fun of civilians, right? Well, obviously, they call people who are non-gang members civilians, so they believe they are in some kind of military operation or some kind of war like environment for them to call themselves non-civilian in some kind of way, right? So there is a little bit of banter in that, but at the same time, they understand that, hey, you know what? There are civilians and then there are kids, and we just don't touch that, and that is off limits. But for whatever reason, this weekend, where that birthday party shooting occurred, unfortunately, civilians and kids got involved. Victory says, yeah, Amish Mafia was no joke, LOL. Amish Mafia. You know the song Amish Paradise by Coolio, right? Coolio was extremely offended by Weird Al Yankovic being able to use that song. He says, look, I didn't like how he mocked the song. I know that he didn't mean to mock it, but there's a lot of seriousness that goes into that song, and quite frankly, he just made a complete mockery of it, and he wasn't going to have any of it. He wasn't going to have any of it at all, right? So, yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is, and, yeah, he wasn't going to have any of it at all. But that kind of brings into question, right? How did Weird Al Yankovic get a sign-off on using his beat like that, right? Is it because maybe Weird Al Yankovic is part of a certain group of people that maybe control your banking, control the music industry, control a whole bunch of things in the media? I don't know. But for whatever reason, they really didn't give a lot of static towards Weird Al Yankovic for using that. And then here comes Coolio literally complaining to his record label, which, by the way, just completely exposes the reality that a lot of these artists and big labels are not in control, which means that if you're going to be an artist, do what MB Nell did, and that's exactly what he did, was go mainstream through his own independent means, right? I think MB Nell is signed to a label, but he did start out independent for a minute, and I think, well, let's just say that his lack of... Okay, sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure I'm live right now. Okay, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Okay, good. Mic check. Make sure I'm live right now. Okay, good. All right. So next, we're gonna be on to the UFC. Yeah, the UFC 323 fight week. What I was saying was that we're going to go into just the main event and co-main event of the fight, which obviously is Joshua Van versus Pantoja, and then Merab versus Peter Yan, okay, for the second time around, right? So that's what we are going to just focus on. For the rest of the week, we will obviously do a full card analysis for the entire card. But for now, yes, we're just going to focus on the, yes. He says, Piotr. Yes, it's not Peter Young, it's Piotr Yan. Okay, so let's take a look at where Peter Yan has been in his career, right? Marcus McGee, he just has a win over Marcus McGee. He's got a win over Davison Figueroa, Song Yadong. Merab, he lost to Merab back in 2023, okay, by a decision. Okay, and that was, by the way, a 5-round decision, right? So one begs the question, you know, how's he going to do in this fight with Merab, man? You know, Merab has already beaten him by decision. I don't know what else could we really find out about this fight, right? Like, I feel like this fight is just going to be a rinse and repeat cycle, okay? It's a rinse and repeat cycle. He's going to take him down over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? It's going to be just a constant takedown fest after takedown fest, and I just really don't see anything different that he's going to do against Merab. Merab, man, listen. Merab is on a whole nother level right now, guys. A completely different level. Okay? And I don't think that he has the skills to, I don't think Peter Yan has the skills to beat Merab. I'm going to be honest with you. He doesn't have the skills to beat Merab. He just doesn't. Because here's the thing about Merab, right? Merab's wrestling is so good. Merab's wrestling is so good that it nullifies anything else that Peter Yan can do. Okay? That's the reality of it. His wrestling is so good, it will literally nullify everything that Peter Yan can do. Okay? Now, why do I say that? Okay. The reason why I say that is because, number one, his wrestling is very similar to that of Khabib. Now, what is it that Merab and Khabib have in common when it comes to, let's say, their wrestling, right? I'll tell you what they have when it comes to their wrestling, right? What they have in common when it comes to their wrestling is the pace, the constant pace that they put, okay? That right there makes it a very unique type of wrestling style. Okay, it makes it a very unique type of wrestling style. Yeah, so I just don't see a world of how he's going to beat him. You know, I don't see a world of how Merab is going to lose to Peter Yan. Really, like, I just think that this is his fight to win. And look, here's the thing, right? You know why they gave him Peter Yan? Because they know that he can beat Peter Yan. Okay, they know that he can beat Peter Yan. They see something special in Merab in terms of sort of using him as the next superstar that they can build off of. All right, so back with Pantoja and Peter Yan, okay? This is going to go to a 5-round war, right? I don't see how these guys are going to do anything else different other than a 5-round war, right? That's just how it is, man. You know, these two guys, look, they're high level. That's for one. Okay, that's one thing to take into consideration. This is a high-level fight. Not only is it a high-level fight, it is also a 125 high-level fight. Now, what do they say about the majority of 125ers? They say the following. They say, well, you know, these guys are not exactly, how do I say this? They're not exactly hard hitters. They're not exactly knockout artists. And as a result of not being a knockout artist, guess what, man? A lot of these fights go to a decision. Now, when you got two fighters that constantly go to a decision, what is the most common thing that is going to happen? The most technical fighter is going to win that fight. Look, I'll tell you what concerns me about Joshua Van, right? Is the wrestling. Pantoja is the champion and a proven champion at that, so we know he's got wrestling, right? For you to be a world champion in MMA, okay, you got to have a proven ground game. Joshua Van doesn't have a proven ground game yet. We know what he can do on the feet, but we don't know what else he can do beyond that. But on any regard, guys, listen, I'm going to head out. That is all that I have for this one right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will do more content regarding UFC 323 this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to come back and do a full card analysis, right? I wanted to do a live stream dedicated specifically just for this news topic in Stockton. right? So sort of talk about it, right? I got a new video out right now with Tom Aspinall getting stripped. Go check that out. Okay, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. And yeah, man, don't forget to tell a friend while you're at it. But this one, I just wanted to focus more on the co-main event and the main event. On the next episode, we will do a full card prediction. Usually, some people like to do full card predictions on a video. Man, you know, I think people would prefer me to do videos on newsworthy topics rather than predictions, right? So I'll just do the predictions on the live stream. And while I do that on the live stream, I'm going to do, I'm going to predict the fights on the live stream while I do newsworthy content on the video. All right, and all right, guys. Well, that is all that I have for this one right now. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy your week. Beautiful Monday. Wanted to get in here and get it in for the Monday. I know you guys are having a very busy week. Keep working hard. Love your family. Take care of everybody. And by the way, with all of the tragedies that are going on out here, right, giving you guys a little bit of this hood news story on top of world news story and on top of MMA news stories, one thing they have in common, they always deal with people passing away at some point, right? And at that point, you got to understand and realize, listen, our life here on earth is very limited, so please live it to the best of your ability and live it to serve Allah Almighty, inshallah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one, inshallah.